to let them know that we are the American Indians. Baby, copper color Indians, baby. A real Indian, American Indian is me, not from Africa.
Remember African Americans here, but they recently moved here from places like Kenya, Ethiopia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. But now the brother whose family's lived in this country for generations, occupying space in all the locations, New York, Miami, LA, Detroit, Chicago, even if he's wearing a dashiki and sporting an afro. And if you go to Africa in search of your race, you'll find out quick, you're not an African American. You're just a black American in Africa taking up space. Why you keep trying to attach yourself to a continent where even if you got the chance to go and you went, most people that wouldn't even claim you as one of them, as a purebred daughter or son of them. Your heritage is right here now, no matter what you call yourself or what you say. And a lot of people died to make it that way. There are some...
And we are not Africans. We are not African. Are you an African, baby? I'm not no African. Nigga, you a lying motherfucker. You nigga talking about we African. You African, nigga. I ain't African.
And that's a fact, because I ain't African either. Smash the damn like button. Y'all, we're going to get it in today. I'm definitely going to speak my mind. This message and this segment is for black leaders. What is this? They got something new. I like this. Ooh, okay. StreamYard always got something funky going on. But hey, Kim and Brian, y'all smash the like. I'm gonna turn my camera on in a minute. Because I want them to see me. This message today, and I want you to share this. Share it on your what do you call it? Social media outlets. Twitter. I'm gonna start streaming to some of these other channels too. I have not on my other platforms. I've not started streaming to my other platforms, but I am gonna start streaming to Facebook and Twitter and other channels. But so I could reach more of the political folks because they stay on Twitter. But today's segment is strictly directly to the black leaders of our community across these 50 states. This message is not or has nothing to do with white people at all. I'm serious because, it's time to address the white people, not the white people, Lord, y'all forgive me. It's time to address our so-called black leaders. This message is not for the white people. I'm saying that straight out. It's not for the white people because the white people are not representing us at state and local levels. It's our black community leaders. And that consists of our local and state senators and representatives, religious black leaders, heavily culprits to indoctrination and education, to black teachers severely indoctrinated, to black scholars severely keeping up the bullshit and the drama and the indoctrination, and to our people who are agents claiming to be Pan-Africans and African Americans and cannot trace their history to one damn direct ancestor in the African content. Okay? This has nothing to do with real Africans. Okay? Africans who don't call themselves Africans. Africans who actually know who they are. This has nothing to do with them. Nigerians, Guyana, all these people know who the hell they are as Africans, and all those other uh, tribes or countries over there, and that landmass. This has something to do with our leaders. Okay, they're, first of all, they ain't my leaders, because I don't claim them, because they don't represent me. And if they are, they're representing fraudulent, humiliating race identities for our people. And some of them already do know who they are. But you really have to look at the history of some of these damn legislators. Because some of these legislators were probably born here, and they look like us. And they ain't us. Their asses was not born here. Some of them are a bunch of descendants of weak men that ran from their own country and ran to and begged the British to take them out when they left, because they knew the Unions would enslave them for warring against them. Okay? And yes, it's those that ran over in Jamaica. Now, we had some brave ones that came back and put up a damn casino. That's mulatto, of course. But we're going to get it in. Right now, I'm talking about those Negroes here that's been leading our people to the slaughter. Yep. You hear it, to the slaughter. My Mookie did my hair. She's going to train my hair to be dread. She's going to get them to grow to be dread. So I can't wait, because I'm tired of wearing braids, and I'm tired of I don't know what else to do with my hair. I don't want to wear no afro. So she's gonna lock it up for me and make me dreads. These are just to see if I would like it, and it feels natural. So now I'm ready, because I like them. I don't have to get up and do nothing to my hair. But anyway, salute everybody. Honor. I really want to get it in. And I want y'all to please smash the like button. Hey, nonetheless, I want y'all to please smash the like button, because we really need to get it in. And where the problem lies within us. We can't keep blaming the white guy. And that's the problem. We can't. We have to be. I was on Chief Holiday, and I was just so disgusted, but happy in a way, because if you watch this segment, it's sometimes hard to explain what we mean about our people with the excuses, the constant excuses. And I can't stand that shit for the life of me. What I want to say, as a government employee, and I'm keeping it real, there are a lot of white people who got fucked up credit. There are a lot of white people in America that work minimum wage. There are a lot of white people that work 2 jobs at minimum wage to take care of their families. So you have to get it out your head that Negroes are the only one that ain't getting no goddamn justice in this bitch, even though we're supposed to under our real race, but we're not even walking around identifying ourselves, and we're not taking the necessary steps to correct humiliating race identities for ourselves. I ain't finished with the comparison. There's a lot of white people that got denied car loans and car dealers. I seen that shit. I do. I went to a car dealer and filled out an application to get a truck in my name on my own personal credit. And I was approved. And the people next to me was a white couple going in together, and they both were denied. They couldn't get no car. I've seen that a lot of times. I see white people filing for unemployment because they were let go from their jobs. I've seen white people removed from their jobs and replaced by uh, other foreigners at lower salaries. I seen that all through the state. I've seen people get hired just because they're my color to meet a quota. So please, and I'm seriously, I am telling you, please stop thinking that we're the only ones that got it fucked up. There's white boys and girls, okay, who are felons that can't get jobs. Here in Connecticut, I see the shit. I live it. It's not just brown people. There's white women doing time right now in Connecticut for hiding drugs for a Negro dude she was involved with. There are white boys and girls in prison right now for growing weed in their backyards. I see this shit. It's in my face. It's people I actually happen to live around. I've seen the state social workers come in and remove little white kids from living with their families because they were at the time you couldn't smoke a weed in front of them. So please stop saying that we're the only ones that get rejected by these United Snakes of America. I'll try not to cuss during this segment, but it's not gonna last. I can tell you right now, it's not gonna last. All right. There's a few things that I wanted to go over first before I get in these senators' asses. Okay. Um, One, I want to prove to you, show to you, for a lot of people that don't know what Indian language is. eh, I I think I gotta download this video, but y'all haven't. I want I want to see if I can download this damn video. God damn it! Give me a minute, y'all. Um, damn. Where'd it go? Me. That was there. I'm looking. Oh, here it is. Indian language. I thought I had it. I thought I didn't send it to myself. I got to download it. I'm downloading it right now because I have Pookie and Ray Ray's in my damn family. Oh, damn. I thought I saved it. Okay, wait a minute. I guess I have to. I wonder if I could do a share screen. Oh, wait. Maybe I already did. Hang on, y'all. Maybe it already went to my drive. I got to go to my downloads. Oh, it did. Yippee. Okay, it's in my downloads. So let me go upload it. Let me copy it. I got to copy it to my videos. Yes, I do. That's what I got to do. Paste it. All right, cool. I got it. Okay. So I go back. I have to talk myself so I make sure I do it right. Okay. That's the only way I could do it. Yep, this is it. All right. So I go here. I go to my damn downloads. Oh, videos, YouTube segments. And there it is. This bitch better upload too. Okay, it's uploading. I think it's gonna work. Okay, first, come on. It's still processing. All right, good. It came up. All right, so let's go over this first. All right, let's go over this, and I hope you guys can see this First, we're going to talk about the damn Indian. Hey, we're going to talk about what Indian language is and proof. And my way of showing you proof that Indians, the Negroes speak nothing but Indian languages. All right. So first, I smash the like button, y'all. I want to read this, okay? Because here's an old ass article from the goddamn 1800s, and it says the citizens of the 5 tribes, and we went over this before, but I just want to show you Indian language and show you what I mean. Like I told you, I like to show you stuff because when you see what I mean, and that's for everybody listening, you understand literally what Chief Holiday, A1, nonetheless, they're in here too, or Empress Holbert, App Power, App TV, when they tell you that we're already speaking Indian language, damn it, we are. And I'm going to show you after I read this to you. We're already speaking Indian languages. Okay? When we go to another state, like down south, I'm in Connecticut. We speak our slang here in Connecticut. And guess what? So does down south. Different states. And you're going to learn this Indian language. And guess what? White people going to know what the hell I'm talking about. Like I said, it's always only our people with the, that's not true. No, I'm getting ready to show you. Okay? The citizens of the 5 tribes, the $5 tribes, now they are anyway, watched with a jealous eye each movement of the United States or its agents. A serious difficulty was met, and the answer to, there was a difficulty met. Are you an Indian? Under the laws of the 5 tribes, a person, white in color and features, is frequently an Indian by remote, look up remote, y'all know what that means, blood degree, or by remote degree of blood. That's how they're white people are Indians, by remote degree of blood. Like damn 10 near generations down. But the shit is funny because when you see who the white person was, okay, and you start counting the generations back, they're fucking asses. And I'm keeping it real, y'all white people. Now y'all know. They wasn't even in the United States yet. So how the hell you get a Negro Guarantee? Stop it. Anyway, by remote degree of blood, meaning far back. Yeah, okay, but your ass wasn't here. That's the problem that the white people forgot to do. They when they came here and when they stole the race identity, they forgot that when they go back 1 or 2 generations, they wasn't here from their country. Ireland, all these other countries. It's just a funny shit. Anyway, or by adoption. So that's how the white person become an Indian, by adoption. Oh, the tribe adopt you. This shit's hilarious. Now, it goes into, there are many whites claiming to be Indians whose claims have not yet been acted on by the nations. You damn right. Because there was a problem. That was the serious difficulty. That was it right there. There are many whites claiming to be Indians who have not yet been acted upon by the nations. Now here we go. Negroes, because they are the darker Indian, Aboriginal, Aboriginal. Negroes are frequently met who speak nothing but Indian languages. That's with an S. We don't speak nothing but Indian languages. And are Indians by tribal law and custom. Facts. We didn't need to establish blood quantum because we are the ones whose blood that foreigners, white people, need to account for to be that damn Indian. Okay? That by tribal law. We did not need to establish a blood quantum because we were the ones whose blood that you needed to be called and have claims to this land. And I already read to you the old ass article about it's the Negroes whose lands was being stolen. We done already did that. I ain't even going there. So it says again, Negroes are frequently met who speak nothing but Indian languages and are Indians by tribal law and custom. You damn right, because it was our custom. We were the law. And there are others who call themselves Indians who have not yet been acknowledged by the tribes. The difficulties surrounding the taking of this census were augmented by the fact that in enrolling the Indians, it frequently occurred that it was necessary to equip 2 and sometimes 3 interpreters to accompany the enumerators to converse with Indians. Yo, they needed 2 or 3 of us to accompany the enumerators, the census takers, because they did not understand nigger to nigger, no matter where they went. They needed to have Negroes, the real one, Indians with them, so that when they was going around collecting the census, they needed to interpret us. They needed us. All right? So now, let me take this down. I'm going to show a video of my late cousin. And this shit, you know what year it is. Okay, you're going to know what year it is because it's in the mid 90s, early 90s. Like I said, I had Pookie rabies in my family. Who doesn't? At this case, and my husband was my cousin, my aunt's son. We all grew up together. And this is in like I said, the mid 90s. He was murdered in a highway shootout, but he was living that life. The gang, the drug selling, all that. We all have him in our family. And he was murdered in a highway shootout, gang related, here in Connecticut. But, it just brought me to tears today because his sister, who looks a lot like me, my aunt's daughter, she emailed me a video that they had of them doing the Indian thing, smoking and drinking. And when I saw it this morning, it just brought me to tears because I miss my cousin so much. And the other sad part is everybody you see in this video, they're all dead due to the same kind of crime for the same reasons. They were warring Indians against each other. But I'm going to show you the whole purpose of showing the video is so you can understand why white federal census takers needed the Indian with them to go around and accompany them so that they know what the hell to write down because they couldn't understand it. Yeah, we speak the same language, but it's not comprehended to them. So I'm going to give you a demonstration right now. I'm going to play my cousins in this video. I might cry, I might not. I don't know. But anyway, let's listen to Indian language when you smoking, having fun, having Indian fun.
I should pull out the pipe. I should show the pipe.
Slow down, baby. Show that little Twinkie.
Like, your dick
Slow down,
bigger than
baby.
mine. I might be chill, but your dick ain't.
I'm gonna keep my dick ain't bigger than yours.
What's up, man? Pass the for you. I had it for like an hour, man.
Come on, dog, man. You about to break the block, man.
Shut up. Stop. Lace.
This dog.
Dave, look at C-Pack loose on the bike.
Hell, Black Dave got geeked with us before. Like
Remember
Dave
Dave got kicked under the tree, under the fence and laid
remember
out?
Remember Rushton tried to get him upstairs? Rushton tried to get you, boy.
I remember that.
Dave
We
was
got
geeked. Hey,
Larry,
D-Hot, was he
David, and
geeked?
Kendall got geeked under the tree.
Nah,
Dave
I
was
was-
passed out against the
Stop with the
fence.
camera,
wasn't
David.
there.
What you taping these
Hey, yo,
dogs?
that's, we had crazy when on 4th of July, Ruxpin birthday, yo. We got nice. Yo, that shit was so
We was
fun,
nice.
yo.
We up at 10
Baby,
o'clock.
baby,
We was
baby,
so
baby.
nice.
That's the day I got eliminated
Nah,
from
I'm not bringing shit back
Untouchable.
up
Yo, one of y'all
Yeah.
niggas
I couldn't go, yo.
Hey, he showed the snake.
I hit
Y'all
the
niggas.
42 I got to it got this low.
Yeah, we said for BA. We said for BA.
My
Man, I had
boy
way
BH,
more
yo.
than y'all, yo.
He go to my boy B.A.
Cherry. They go to Cherry.
And Cubbyville, Neil.
Yeah. BH. You know what I'm saying?
I'm down.
Suck ass nigga. Suck. He nah, he can't
Now-
pull it off with a book.
Now we let the blunt sit while we drink the food.
One of y'all.
Okay, so let me get back to where y'all are. So now, let me tell you something. They sitting down, chilling, smoking, drinking. If I'm standing outside or even in my house watching this video with my boss, the governor of Connecticut, he ain't gonna understand shit they was talking about. But all y'all Indians up in here in this motherfucking chat room understand clearly what the Indians was talking about while they was smoking and drinking. You need me and you to stand by and interpret to the white census taker what the fuck they saying, because they don't know. He's like, yeah, we was geeked out. We doing it. Yeah, you remember this? Suck that sucker ass. I know what they were saying. But the census taker don't. Like, what'd she say? I didn't quite get that. Geeked? What did she mean? We know what geek we maybe getting geeked out. We was getting burnt. We was hurt. They don't understand that. That's why they needed census takers to go around in the same town, like that article tells you, to interpret for the federal census takers and local ones. You needed the Indian to go with you. Anybody that disagrees with that, oh well. And guess what? You need them for your people that look like you too. Especially if they're indoctrinated in these high prestige colleges and they did not grow up in the hood. You all know who I'm talking about. They don't understand either. They be like, huh? Oh, what did you say? Yeah. So I want you that's listening, because see, white people already know what I'm talking about. It's you. When you say understanding Indian, you're saying understanding the nigga, because that was a bad word in white communities when they were little. People born like in the 50s and back, saying Indian was like saying nigger, and they weren't allowed to say that. I'm telling you what I know. It was a bad word for them to say that. If you understand what I mean when I say we spoke the damn Indian language, please give me some fire. That's just my way of knowing you understand. Or you could put a check. Just let me know you know what I'm talking about. And you know the fact that the Negroes spoke all nothing but Indian languages, and we still do today. When you hear Indian languages, we're talking about hood talk, Ebonics. Today it's called that. You know they changed names for every goddamn thing. Back then it was called Indian languages. Niggas talking. Today it's called niggas talking. Hood talk, Ebonics, niggas. That's Indian talk. And I don't care if you say, yes, it is true. Because if you write down what we be saying when we in our hood mood talk, and you write that shit down, I swear to you, it's like a whole nother damn language. Write down, I'm finna get your ass. Write that down just the way I said it. It's a different language. Write down what Big Mama say. Boy, if you don't get your ass in here and sit down, if you write that down just the way I said it, it's a whole different language. And give it to a foreigner to read it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's different. We understand it because we speak it. It's our language. Boy, I'm finna whoop your motherfucking ass if you get your motherfucking ass. If you write it down just like that, and don't spell it in the proper English, just spell it just the way I said it. That's English language. That's Indian language. It's a whole different language. We have our own language. So, in that article where it tells you they were accompanied by sometimes 2, sometimes 3 of us because we understood we spoke nothing but Indian language. Pookie and Ray Ray was not switching over to mainstream white media for shit, and they still don't today. They needed them though because we understood all the Indian languages, and they put an S on that shit. Because I can be here and work for Connecticut, and the government summons me and somebody else. We got a shortage. We need some census takers, the Democrats, and we'll fly you out to Texas or any fucking hood in the U.S., Chicago, and we need some federal census takers to accompany them. Could you go? Yes, because I understand all the Indian languages. I can leave here and go to Chicago and rock with my with Chicago brothers and sisters. I can go to any state and understand any of them. Everybody can't do that, especially blue collar government workers that are white. They just will flip out because they don't know. They literally don't know. Get a white person older than me. Now I'm 56. Get a white person 60, 65 years old to go in the hood. They're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? Exactly. So, that being said, why is it? Let me ask you this question. Why is it that Negroes, how come Negroes understood all the Indian languages? Why white people that was in the tribe couldn't go around and interpret? Why didn't they pick the white people? Why did they pick the Negroes to do it? Can you answer that question? Please tell me why didn't they get the white people that are census takers to go around? Why did the Negroes have to go around and to interpret the Indian languages? Why? Now, tell me what's the Indian language? Why do you need a Negro to go around? Because they all knew all the Indian languages. How come the white people didn't know? Why they shouldn't have sent the white people around in that same county? That's what they said in the newspaper article. Why the Negroes had to go? Ask yourself, why couldn't the white people go? Why couldn't the white Indians go if they was Indians? I'm just saying. Could y'all please answer that? That's a very simple question. Greetings. I just, to understand, and you have to understand this today. In the news media, a lot of white people are very careful about what they say when they say that, because to them, it really was a bad word to say Indian, just like they can't say nigger. They like, no, I'll get in trouble if I say that. You can say it, but I can't say it. A lot of white people say that because they meant the same thing. They needed the Negro to go around because Negroes spoke nothing but Indian languages. I tell you, when you leave shit in the newspaper that's official, you can't change that shit. It's too fucking late. That's an official article. You can smoke nothing but Indian languages. Damn, how many Indian languages was it? Well, at this point, I'm going to have to say 50 because it's 50 states, right? Right? 50 damn languages. Oh my goodness. You get to Texas. Oh my God. I don't understand them. They're, oh my goodness. Louisiana. I can't understand these Negroes. But we need another Negro to come. I can go to Louisiana and understand my sisters and brothers there in every state. This was our damn landmass. That's why we traded and spoke with each other. You could live over in any part of the U.S. All the clues are in our face. Now, which brings me to you you leaders, you Jesse Jacksons and Al Sharptons, you black Democratic people like Roland Martin. You guys suck. I want you to know that this is not a white man's fault. It's you continuing those humiliating ass race identities for our people. We are not Africans. There is a difference. I don't hate Africans, but I'm not them. And neither are you, Jesse and Al. Two damn Cherokees. Judge Joe Brown clearly told you he was checked out. Don't tell me it's not important. Fake race identities takes away my damn land. And you're continuing it. So, us as a people, we have to individually and collectively fix this shit. We can't continue to fight on YouTube saying, oh, bitch, look at you. Oh, bitch, no, you didn't wear that. And you brothers, we can't keep fighting against each other. We got to fix it individually and collectively. You want to go back and be a Hebrew and whatever religious belief you are, fine. But let's get the race identity corrected. You're not going to be able to walk in court and say, Judge, I'm Hebrew. That shit's not going to work. You were not a Hebrew when they land on Plymouth Rock. All right? Probably earlier than that, maybe you were. But right now, the shit they have on our ancestors and us, we were the Indian. The Negroes spoke all the Indian languages. How much more clear? I mean, come on. You're going to tell me the white master beat the Negro and said, learn this language, all 5 of them. But they ass don't know the language. They couldn't go around and do the census by themselves. You got to make things make sense, and you got to put them in their right perspective. See, we weren't supposed to be able to read corporate language. All right? We understood our Indian language back in the day, but we didn't understand corporate language, which is why we were so easily deceived as a people. Reading corporate language as a people, okay, is totally different from comprehending many Indian languages that we spoke across these states, which is hood languages. We understood each other spiritually, mentally, and physically. But there's a big difference. When corporate language is before you, you can be deceived. Even today, if you don't read the fine print, you could be screwed. That's not Indian language. All right? That's corporation language. And whatever field or area it could be in, it could be legal language, it could be medical language, it could be construction language, all kinds of corporate languages. Now, you need white people to interpret their corporate language. But because we have the Uncle Toms who now can understand it, and the business suit, the Jesse Jacksons and all them, they can understand the corporate language. I understand it. I've worked it 37 years. Many of us can't now. Some of us can't understand the fine print. But I know goddamn well we all understand that damn newspaper because our reading pick up. The more you read, the more your comprehension in the corporate, blue collar, whatever you want to call it, language picks up. That's why your teacher always tell you, read, just pick a book up, read it. If you can't pronounce the word, because if you study a word, pronouncing it, once you learn it, you never forget it. And that's us. We have massive storage memory, and we have a lot of scenes and things stored in our heads. So when we bring it to surface, it comes right out the head. I remember that. That's right. That's what that means. Yes, that's what it means. And that's a fact. But we need to come hard. I'm telling y'all don't think that this is important. We need to go hard on our Black religious leaders. We need to go hard on them. I'm sorry. Well, at least we need to communicate to them to this. The white man in corporate office, whether it's private sector or public sector, which is the state level, or at federal level, white people are not saying, you're African. No, it's our leaders saying we're comfortable. I think you should call us that. And they're only honoring what people like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton says, and religious leaders. With these humiliating, lying ass race identity. They're just, the white guy in the business office is just honoring what they're saying. For all he knows, he's right. So we have to go after Jesse and them's asses. Legislators, religious leaders, education system. We got to take initiative to correct that shit. It's not the white guy's fault, and y'all can't see that we was in on a lot of shit. Our ancestors. Sometimes I'm glad the Union won the war, and sometimes I despise the fact that the motherfuckers won the war only because of the behaviors of the Democrats today. I'm serious. You will never ever get me to vote Democratic again. I wish we had stayed in the Confederate States. We had a republic. And there's nothing wrong with a republic. At least they don't want to take your shit from you. This dictator shit and all that bullshit. I ain't for it. And they're not going to win with the dictatorship. Not happening. You ain't doing that shit to a Republican or a greasy ass Democrat. Oh hell no, you will not be. This will not be a dictatorship. You got some Democrats that's like, oh, you going too damn far away right now. Yes, we do have some Democrats that will say, dictatorship, oh hell to the motherfucking no. I'm saying hell to the motherfucking no. And this time, Confederates will whoop their ass, Union. I'm sorry. We'll make sure your ass is finished. You're not going to be a dictatorship. We ain't going for that shit. And you're not taking our guns. You're not taking our weapons. That's something that the United States is really going to have to, they're going to have a problem. You're not taking our weapons. You're not disarming us. You're not going to stop me from getting a Mac 9. You're not. I don't care what you do. You're not, if you ain't taking white boy's gun, you damn sure ain't taking mine. Not happening. Cap. Y'all, we just need these Democrats out the office. Not to say that the other parties are so great, but everything about the Democrats is not for us. We did this bullshit, man, and we got to fix it. We got to stop fighting on YouTube. We got to get to the real enemy. The real enemy is the Democrat. You should see it now. You should see it just by reading that newspaper. The Black Democrat, your people, our people, is the enemy. That newspaper ain't no Democrat, Negro Democrat should be calling you no goddamn African after reading that article. Official document. That's a real state. Those are real state newspapers. Primary source. Any Democrat that reads that, you Democratic leaders, you guys, we're coming for you. We're coming for you, Democrats. We are. We're coming for you. Not in a physical manner. We're coming for you mentally and psychologically. We are removing you from any power in any of those offices. You are gone. We're coming for you. Because the minute these indoctrinated, you do got some senators and college professors, young ones, too, that are, and brown ministers all across the state who think they're from Africa. Really, they really do. They really don't know. But I just read that newspaper article, and there's so much more. We're coming for you guys. You can't get no more primary than the fucking state's official public newspaper. You can't print shit like that. It's not official. A newspaper is a primary source. It's only a secondary source when somebody later writes about it in a later time. But those are at the official time that they were written. Difference. We have to go after the Democrats, the black ones, because a lot of them ain't even North Americans. A lot of Democrats are not from here that look like us. A lot of them are still British-minded people. And old Democratic people. The old Democratic people, they're the Uncle Tom ass kissers. And they're still like that. They don't care. As long as they get that promotion in their corporate job, they don't give a damn. But it's not the white guy's fault. White people didn't stand up and say, all right. Excuse me. Hello. You're all going to be Negroes. You're all going to be African. You're all going to be black. White people didn't do that. Our people did. Show me anything where white people stood up and said, okay, all right, black people, this is what you're going to call yourself. They didn't do that shit. It was our people. We were the ones jumping up saying, I'm black and I'm proud. All our people were doing that. There was not white people jumping up. Well, that is funny. There were white people dancing on that song saying, I'm black and I'm proud. That shit is funny because they like the song. So we can't leave that out. But some of them were black and they were proud. Some of them were black and proud. Even some were lying and said, was singing a song saying, I'm black and I'm proud. You know what? We're not going to go back here. Again, we're not going to do it. Not today. These are the owners of the Mashantucket Pequot casinos. You think they're black and they're proud? Now, see, the one on the left can clearly understand Indian language. You remember he told you they took his ass to Bermuda. And the one on the right probably has some weed with some brothers too. But we're not going to go there. Y'all know this story. Black out, white out the Negro. White out. We need Pookie and Ray Ray's cooperation on YouTube. Pookie and Ray Ray are our brothers fighting and arguing with each other on YouTube. We need your cooperation now, Pookie. Because y'all the only ones that speak all the Indian languages. So we need your damn cooperation. We need to get to those stupid ass black leaders. We need Pookie and Ray Ray. We do. We need y'all to stop fighting each other on YouTube. Pookie and Ray Ray, y'all got to stop. Some of y'all Pookie and Ray Ray daddies, and some of y'all they damn granddaddies on YouTube fighting. Now, you got to understand. I don't care how you slice it. He is not us. We all know this. He is Kenyan. And he don't even look like our people. He has a little of our complexion. Yeah. A lot of our people are that complexion. I am. But he still don't look like us. He looks more of his Kenyan features. He has more of his Kenyan features. Now, we all looked at him real good, right? I do not have any of his features. None. Now, I do have his features. All right? Same bottom lip, nose. I have King's features. King is an Indian, Aboriginal, however you want to slice it. I look more like him. I do not have Obama's features. I got features like King. Let's see. I got features like Malcolm too. Red. Yes, I do. Malcolm don't look shit like Obama. Sorry, Obama. But to me, Obama still look like the Pink Panther. I don't care what nobody say. I look like Fred Hampton. Okay? That Indian. I look like him. And so do you. These people from the South look like us. None of them look African. Look at their features. They can speak all the Indian languages. The census takers need them. I do not look like this man. Obama has more of his features than I do. I do not look like him. They don't look like descendants of Africans. Nope, not at all. There is a difference. The idiot in the middle looks nothing like the two guys on the outside. There's a striking difference. They all have afros, but guess what? None of their features are alike. The one in the middle is the American Aboriginal, the real American. These other two are from over in the what is called African landmass. They have no features like Jesse. I do. Get it right. There is a difference between the American Negro and the African from Africa. Do not play with me. Don't. The American, the real American. I look like the real American. These are my features. People from Africa have the same features, very strong features alike, just like North America. Look at our both have chunky faces. Our eyes, our eyebrows, our lips, our nose is very much alike. Our flat noses, as they describe, Olmec heads, the Mayan heads and shit. You, perhaps, you guys, our leaders today, the senators and representatives, and it's just what angers me the most. I don't got to go in grave detail with white people about my history. They already fucking know. I don't have to go in any argumentative detail with any white people. White people have never been our problem about our race identity. When you start talking about what happened to the Indians, they know it was us. Yeah, my eyes changed. They're light. Nope, I do not have on contact lenses. They're light brown. They always have been. I never have any arguments or disputes with any white person, no matter what zip code they're in. They already know. It's just our people. What the hell? Does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. I was on, oh my goodness. I don't know if you guys watched Chief Holidays today, but this guy, he really upset me today about opening up our businesses as a people. Okay, why so many foreigners are in our land, and it just fucking pisses me off. It does. I listen. We could do anything we want in our hood. There's no way that you hustling on the street, you can buy them same condemned ass looking buildings and fix them up and turn them into stores or whatever in our community. You guys saying, oh, I didn't, you're full of fucking shit. Okay? To build up a community, and that, I mean, we have all foreigners that don't even live in these fucking districts in our hoods across, and they live in other states. And they come and they buy up the abandoned condemned buildings and structures in our communities because we fucking won't buy them. That's the problem. The problem's us. Everybody that go to the bank don't get approved for no damn loan. They don't. You know how many times I was rejected in my life being a young woman for bank loans and credit cards back in the 80s and the 90s? I used to be like, fuck it. Get your shit fixed. I was a hard-headed little wench. I ain't even gonna lie. Filed bankruptcy way back in the fucking 80s. Couldn't get no credit until I had to learn. It took me a long time to learn, bitch. Fix your credit. You're not getting nothing. And I had to do just that. Anywhere I go to apply for a card, I'm not denied. I'm automatically approved because I took care of my shit. I was so fucking hard-headed. And I would get so mad. I did. You got to stop saying it. White people get rejected the same fucking way. That's why they always doing shit. Crazy shit. Fuck it. You know, white people crazy. Start blowing up shit. Shoe bomber, dumb shit. Ready to end their life. I don't care. They get rejected. My wife's gone. She took the kids. Fuck it. They get rejected too. My ass back in the 80s and 90s, my ass used to get fired from every other job. I told y'all that. And I'd be like, oh, well, fuck it. I can't pay my bill. I was young and hard-headed. And I got tired of paying for them fucking rentals. Because then when Sunday come, because I hung out, thought my ass was cute. Back in the late 80s. Getting them damn rental cars. And pissed the fuck off because I got to bring that bitch back Sunday. I was balling for the weekend. They could be like, where your car at? I'd be like, oh, I had to bring it back. And I'm like, oh, I'm out. They bounce. I'd be like, fuck you, nigga. You ain't riding the next car. I got so sick of that shit. And I fixed my credit. And I finally got a car loan. I hate it. I used to be balling with my rentals. I was the bad chick for the weekend. Goddamn rental. Because I was going to the set. Bust this shit. Get a rental to go to the community club. It ain't like I drove out of state because my dumb ass was scared to drive on the highway. If I could take the roadway there, I was balling all the way to the club 3 miles down the street with my rental. I had to bring that bitch back Sunday because my ass didn't want to take care of my credit. And I finally did. I took care of my credit. I started maturing and understanding that I, had to establish credit and make credit. Buying a building or structure in your community takes collective effort. I keep telling y'all, not everybody that goes to a bank gets approved for a loan. You get 50 people, like I said, and you save the money. You could do it within 6 months. If you all put away $300, $400 for 6 months, you can buy a fucking structure in your building. And all you got to worry about is the taxes. But we can't get our people to think on that level. Too much fucking power trip shit. And then you be ready to kill each other. Man, fuck that. No. We could buy anything we want. The reason why foreigners are there because they're coming together. Okay, they're called investors. A bunch of people. They be having like 1,000 people, and they all put in $100, and then they can buy the whole fucking block. But we don't think on that level. We too fucking ignorant. Don't get mad at the white guy because niggas won't come together and do shit together. That's how it's done. That's how it's firstly done. Once you do that, and your local state be like, well, damn, this organization, they bought this structure, they fixed it up, they're renting out homes and the structure. They're very good for the community. That's the way the state level looks at you and the community banks. Well, yeah, damn. She bought this building, fixed it up, and rented it out to elderly people transitioning from the hospital for having strokes or whatever. And she's good for they're good. That Jackson family is really good. They did this shit. That's how the state knows you're serious and you're real. And the bank, the community bank manager, yo, we gonna approve you for that loan. Your monthly payments will be $400 a month. So now you got 1,000 people that have to pay $400 a month for a loan that they took out. 1,000 people. Divide that by fucking 400. How much are you paying each? 50 cents a month? Each investor. You guys got to learn. If you don't do it together, you're fucked. And you're always going to be in a miserable mindset and living in a miserable world. All foreigners stick together and do shit together. We the only wild niggas that's separated by our communities by drugs or whatever else. That's some Indian shit. That ain't no nigga shit. That ain't no white man shit. That's some Indian shit. We're fucked up to each other. I'm gonna open my piano and forgive me for speaking this way, but I gotta speak the Indian language. Why is she cursing? Why is she swearing? Because Big Mama did it. Grandpa did it. Big Daddy. These are my people in my community. I'm speaking Indian language. By now, the white man can understand a little bit better. But I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to my community. And it seems like it's better received. And I also feel comfortable, too, because I'm from the hood. I'm from the hood. But I don't speak Indian language with everybody. I don't go to work and speak Indian language. I do sign language behind their back at work. Leave me alone. I know my colleagues are probably watching saying, she sticks her finger up at me behind my back. So I'm going to open up my panel. If you all give me a little bathroom break. I really want to get down with y'all and talk about how we can attack our leaders. I don't mean physically. Please. All right. I'm speaking normal Indian language. So when I say attack, I don't mean literally. Some Indians take that shit for real. How can we got to get to our leaders, and a lot of them are religious leaders. We have to get to our individual people in our communities so that they can explain this, begin to teach this to the children. We got to talk about how we get out in our communities, in our recreation centers, and begin the process of teaching our people about our history and their genealogy. Genealogy, goddammit, is mom, you, mom. We're doing it. Grandma, great grandma, great 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 grandma. That's genealogy. We got to tell them that's what that is. Family lineage. And they'll get to understand. A lot of our people in our community, they all say the same thing. I never felt connected with Africans. So I just didn't want to say nothing, but Yeah, I don't want to. I just did it because everybody was rocking African. Yeah, that's what we got to stop. If you're not a real African, stop doing that shit. So we got to get our ministers are doing this. They come in on Juneteenth to church and die shit. Nah, they got to cut that shit out unless they asses is real Africans recently came over here. I ain't knocking that for real. But I'm gonna open my piano for discussion. I really want to hear on how we can um approach our leaders, our ministers, our whatever in our communities, period, our community leaders. In the eyes of a specific state, the community leaders are those that have a business in the community. All right. That's something you got to understand. The community leaders in the eyes of the state are those that have a corporation in the community. That's the church. That's a nonprofit. They're the community leaders. So these are the people we have to go to. If you have a doctor's office, someone with a community leaders that has a corporation that has people working for them, loads of them. Because a community leader is someone with power that can hire you. Now, stop thinking of power as white, because if you're a brown guy and you own a car shop and you give oil changes and shit all day and you have a staff, you're a community leader because you're providing jobs for people in your community. So in the state's eyes, community leaders are people that are a resource for the people. So you got your church, you got your hospitals, your major community leaders. Okay? Thank you guys for the Cash App. You guys are sweet. Thank you. So I'm going to open my piano and we can discuss civilly ways on how we can attack this. Excuses that, oh God, the guy that made the excuses, I was just so upset. I'm just not used to soft men like that. But I got denied. I'll talk to you about it more when I get back. Let me take a girls' break and put the link in the chat. Paste. I'll let you guys hear a little music while I take a girls' break. I drink a lot of water. Let's see. The link is in the chat. And if you hit the link, I'll be back in a few. I got to go to take my little ladies' break. I came from the ladies' room. I have some visitors. All right, y'all. What's up? We're going to talk. So this guy, I'll start it up, but let me pin this shit because I'm not going to keep putting this thing in the chat room because the panel is open now. Let me see. How do I get to y'all? Oh, there it is right there. I'm going to pin this. Oh, okay. It's pinned now. So, oh, damn. So the link is in the chat. But anyway, I was on Chief Holiday's channel. DJ Cut was running his morning show. And we got into, I understand our people get rejected, but I was just so upset because it's like, I just can't, I get so angry when one of our people say, oh, we just don't do it. Yeah. Well, that's been going on for years. It's always been a discrimination thing. Hell, they had separation laws. Okay, separate but equal laws. And we were cool with that. I was. Even now, if they did that shit, I'd still be cool with it. But a complaint. Oh, I got denied and we got denied. Okay. Did you got denied at the state level? Yeah. Okay. Did you take it to the federal level? And it's like really difficult because I'm like, okay, how many times have you been denied from opening up a business in your community? And he couldn't even fucking, I was just so upset with this guy. Nigga, if you didn't even try to buy a business with a group of people, there's so many methods. And you first of all, you should never ever depend on a bank. You always supposed to depend on yourself and your people. You can't even depend on your people. If you can't depend on your people, what makes you think you're going to depend on somebody else? If you haven't done what it was to take to correct your identity and go make a claim, you shouldn't even fucking be talking on nobody's panel. Because right now you're a nigger from Africa. And what rights must you want? I'm getting denied. Oh, here's the funny part. Wait till you tell me you're Indian. And you go for a loan. That's worse than being a Negro. Hey, y'all. I say, Ali Boomer, I can't hear you if you're talking.
Queen Mother.
Hey, can you hear me, Ali Boomer?
Good afternoon, Chief. Yes, I can.
Are you
Good
home
afternoon,
or
Chief
you
Morning
driving?
Thunder. I'm driving. So
You
can you hear me?
driving? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. My apologies, but thank you for the invitation. I do want to chop it up with you, however you want to bounce it back and forth. Let's ping pong a little bit.
So I was talking earlier. You know how we was talking on Chief Holiday's channel. Hey, big dog. And I understand about the denials. I just told everybody how I was denied and shit. And what I went through with denial and stuff. And I just feel at this point we make too many excuses. Yes, we need to go and file lawsuits, and get shit corrected. But who are we going to file the lawsuit against? It's got to be the correct people. You got to. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't want to step on your wisdom. I'm listening.
Now, yes, the education system, blah, blah, blah. But we got some real shit that the people that are supposed to be protecting us have not done. The NAACP.
That's colored people.
Right. Why are you representing me as an African American in this NAACP? What the hell did that stand for?
United Negro College Fund. That's Negro.
Okay, but NAACP.
The Urban League issues out the Black American Report every year. I mean, so there's three examples of organizations that call us colored, Negro, and Black.
But the NAACP, that's for the National Advancement
of Colored People.
Okay.
Which is now people of color, supposedly, right?
Okay. But they're the ones who are saying the African American shit. They should be sued. You're improperly representing us.
Now, let's say that I take your line of reasoning, which I'm not in disagreement with your perspective. Then what group of colored folks are you going to get to file a lawsuit that we shouldn't be called Negro, Black, or African American?
All of
And
us
then you
in
go to
here.
the Negro group. No, just hear me out for a second. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm talking strategy now. Then what group of Negro people are you going to call to go and file a lawsuit that we shouldn't be called colored, Black, or African American? You see what I'm going for examples here? And then what Black individuals, which is what most of us are banging, black this, black that, blackity blue, black, black, are going to say we shouldn't be called Negro, colored, or African American. You see, I'm not saying this to sound confusing, but you get the point that I'm making about strategic reaction. You have to reach people where they are and get them to act in the interest of what they think is their position. You see what I'm saying? Now, of course, it would take a Negro, a colored, and a Black lawyer or barrister or attorney representing any or all, but I would say individually with those three examples, filing a lawsuit that the name identification is theft. You see what I'm saying? That's a strategy. I'm not saying I agree with it. Just using as an example how you would get people to act, and if they think themselves colored, if they think themselves Negro, if they think themselves Black. You see what I'm getting at?
Yes.
Then go back to your minister conversation that you had earlier.
Hey, real quick, grand rising, everybody. Much love and respect. I don't have to think hard, brother Alabama, because it's on my mother's birth certificate. So I don't have to think hard. They literally made sure they written it on there, sir. Much love and respect to everybody.
Hey, big dog. Philly OG.
And at the time when your parents 14 and 12 years old signing a birth certificate, come on, really?
But they had become a parent at that young age. But yes, would you say that they were of the knowledge and the understanding of what a birth certificate as a document was going to be used for?
Our people didn't write it on there. The ones that was given, that was bringing the children out or birthing the children, those are the ones that wrote what we are on that paperwork. Our parents only signed it through ignorance. We didn't have no choice of what they wrote on them birth certificates, my brother.
Well, that's called coercion, and that's the act of committing fraud. But the document itself is a libelous piece of evidence
the document
of us being defrauded.
Fraud, my brother.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, big dog. I'm just saying,
you're not disagreeing.
As far as what is strategic manner of handling this, that's all I'm suggesting. Okay? So the problem for us is not that the documents exist with Negro, colored, or whatever, Black, etc. And God forbid they are being put on our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren on the birth certificate as African American. You know, just hearing it being said in the news daily, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard to me.
Well, they don't have African American. Well, I don't see African American on any birth certificates at this point. A lot of states stopped putting race on it, period, because they knew that you could sue.
So what is the child being considered if it's not a racial category? What is the ethnic category?
They're leaving it up to the adult to identify who they are.
And that's supposed to be UNDRIP and ADRIP, right? Which we don't explain to people that you have the authority through your sovereignty as a live person to self-identify.
Correct.
And since we're not informing our people of that, and this is why I keep stressing that it's an individual situation.
And we have to teach them, though, Ali Boumad, because they don't know. I didn't know about the ADRIP and UNDRIP until I came into YouTube community. I learned. So now that I know, I can go, and I know a hell of a lot about it now because of 3 years of research. But, 4 now. But we have to go out and individually communicate the ADRIP and UNDRIP to our people. It's up to us to do that and not the white guy. So what I'm trying to do.
And why would you expect your enemy to fully inform you to your benefit?
Correct. But our people have to get it out their mind that it's the white guy's fault. No, it's not. It's not the white guy's responsibility to educate our community. It is not. It is our responsibility.
Now, I didn't want to direct you away from what you were saying, but your understanding to give to that young brother about initiating businesses or investments or any type of thing that's in a financial nature, until your mindset is adjusted, you're going to keep it's like the red pill, the blue pill with Neo and Morpheus in the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember, Cypher was pulled out, which I found ironic. They used Cypher as the character's moniker. He said, I know this steak ain't real, but goddamn it, put my ass back under. Give me the blue pill. So when we're still vested in the system as it is, you're not going to operate against the system when you think the system is to your benefit. Even as it's disabusing you and it's detrimental, all the interactions and things that you're doing with the system, it is taxing you when you are not to be taxed. It is displacing you off your land and not cutting you a check, as MLK may have said it. Now, he may have said it for different reasons at the time, because he was also being manipulated as a baby boule, as some people may refer to him, or as the system tried to call him a communist. You remember that crap that was used at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
He was also being put under Catholicism, because people don't know, even if you call yourself a Protestant or a protester, you call yourself Christian, it comes from the Catholic religion. It comes from the Holy Roman Empire. All those denominations, you notice it's 600 and counting, still stem from the Trinity and the Holy Roman Empire. And I know you know, Sister Betsy, now at our level of awareness, even Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, and all other religious entities and philosophies fall under the Pope's authority. If you are a 501c3 entity, falls under that authority. If you're conducting business and using anything that's called fiat currency, fall under the Queen, though she's now dead, King Charles III, because that's the financial arm of this criminal enterprise. And if you're serving in the military, you fall under the United Snakes of America, because that's the military wing. Right, Queen Mother?
That is correct.
So these things are not going to be discussed nor understood by the average person, no matter what level of elementary or high school education they have gotten. They really will fall away if we try to go the deep dive. We just need to focus on your identity is yours, and it's not these labels. These are not names.
I have to disagree, because I'm sorry, Ali Bumar. I that's the problem right there. We keep hiding stuff and not teaching our community.
Oh, don't get me wrong, sister. I'm not saying they shouldn't be informed. I'm saying it's like giving a child on breast milk, giving them filet mignon. They're not developed enough in their awareness to possibly consume certain messages.
We have to develop them, Ali Bamu.
Okay.
I'm not being a hard bitch, but we have to teach them. There are people, especially the Y generation. They're gonna want to know why, and we have to tell them. Our people always sat and listened to folk tales. Our explanation of the A drip and undrip is going to be a good ass folk tale, and our people will understand because they like to hear it from us. If we're telling them, they will understand. I don't care what level of education they're at. We should not be so high in our education where we don't tell them everything. Don't just say, hey, get your ID, get your identification fixed. It's yours. You're an Indian. No, we need to tell them the whole story. The whole story was washed out their brain. And another story was put in their brain. So I want to tell them everything, because our people in common lack something together, and it's lack of education. They don't understand. A lot of our people, no matter what, they need us to tell them Big Mama's story. And Big Mama's story is A-drip and undrip. And I'm not leaving that out because it'll make them more stronger to know it. That's the thing about our leaders today. They always give us a little piece of it so they can stay and be the sharp one that everybody turns to. I don't want that image. I want to give them, I want to feed them. Our people are hungry and they're starving. And because they have third grade education level, they have reading disabilities. We got to be there and tell them the story. They will listen.
Let's not get it twisted. Elijah Poole Bey, the messenger, Elijah Muhammad, had a third grade education. Big
Correct.
Mama, and when they were having babies in the teens and 15 and 20 children, didn't have any supposed indoctrination. But the only point that I'm making is we must understand how it's through public school systems, K through 12, how it was processed for the indoctrination, and then putting a replacement curriculum in steps in a similar fashion. That's all I was meaning, Chief. I wasn't saying don't tell the truth or the entire truth.
Here's what I want you to know. Please don't ever think that I think that you're coming with the bullshit. I honor and respect your information. I value it. I truly do. But I'm not saying that you don't because you have a mother as a teacher. But what I'm basically saying is I know our sons and daughter in my community. I don't know if you're from the hood, and I'm not saying that you're incapable of communicating with hood brothers. I'm not saying that either. I respect everything that you lecture on. I actually love when you come on my panel. All I'm saying is our people that were robbed of education so bad in a horrible way. And I mean it. And we need to get out there and teach them about the A-drip and undrip. We need to tell them everything. It's for so long, these leaders that have sold us out always give us a little bit of the truth and then look at us stupid when we don't understand them. Like we're stupid and dumb. And I don't like that. That's what I despise about our brown leaders. That's why I never joined fraternities and never wanted to be like white mainstream society. Not that I hate white people, but I never want to lose contact and connection and trust with my people. Too many of them fail us. Those that don't want to transition to white mainstream society have a right to know about their history and know the truth. And they happen to be a lot of our people, Pookie and Ray Rays, that never, excuse my language, fuck with the system and they don't understand it. So they look to people like me for help with interpretation. Just like you need that nigger Indian to go around to communicate with the other Indians. You need me, the Indians need me to interpret and communicate white mainstream society's language.
Now you did the word you just used, interpreter. Now, I don't know who it was in the chat. It's just interesting to me about how people still are misguided in their interpretation. While we're saying this in real time, whoever this person was keeps saying we got to stop letting them change our identity. Our identity was never changed. A label, a title is not your identity.
Right.
Changing something and calling you out of your name is the identity theft.
Correct.
Now, maybe I'm not saying it clear or slow enough for some people in the short bus.
You're very clear.
But I'm saying no label is your identity. You are you. You map the people in your family tree that you carry around that's called your DNA, not spitting in a tube.
Correct.
It's what you go and find out for yourself. You cannot find it out from me, Sister Bethy. Anyway, Sister Bethy will gladly help you, assist you in what is genealogy, but she's not telling you what is your genealogy. I'm not saying this to you, Chief. I'm saying for those in the audience or when this is replayed and people are listening, whether you're in the short bus or not, please Stop making it personal. It's not about you unless it's your family. Now, I've said it this way, and I'll say it again. This is not history we're discussing. This is his story. Until our story, your individual family story, is fully told and understood, will history then be told? Because our history is not being told. And I can point out example after example how we were terrorized. And you say it very clearly, Chief, but I think they keep ignoring what you're saying. When the word Indian was being used by Big Mama or your grandparents or your great grandparents, and it was in hushed whispers, it's because of terrorism.
Correct.
Whether you call it white supremacy, whether you call it Ku Klux Klan, whether you call it the Night Riders, whether you call it the Slave Patrol, the Patty Rollers, I can go with on and on. You know what I mean? These are just examples of different groups of people that had titles that was given to them to say, go beat, terrorize, burn, lynch the nigger.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know what your personal example is. Only you can find out and know that. You see? And this is the point that I keep stressing, why I keep banging on identity crisis is a thing.
Yeah.
And until persons in their each individual family, I don't know who that's going to be, but one of you, and certainly most of you in this particular community, are becoming the unofficial historian of your family, not everybody else. Stop doing that. Stop allowing other people to tell you what is you.
Right.
I mean, I don't. This is the only thing that frustrates me, Chief Bethy. This is listening to my young people, my children, my grandchildren, my potential great-grandchildren, because I'd like to have them someday. Do this at each other's throat, chaotic shit.
Yeah.
This banging on team whatever, this hashtag shit you see on social media.
Yeah.
You notice how they keep doing that bullshit? Whose team are you on? His or hers? Democrat, Republican, Jew, Hebrew, Christian.
Yeah.
None of that shit pertains to us.
Facts.
And when will we focus on us exclusively? Not as a side discussion. Not as, oh, this is entertainment purposes only. You feel what I'm saying, Chief?
I know.
So maybe, again, I'm not telling you what to do. I've said this every time on other panels because I don't tell people how to run their program. But I'm saying certain shit do need to be checked at the door, but you know what I mean by that.
I do.
And if it ain't focusing on us, that shit needs to be squashed.
Facts.
We cannot allow people to come in and do distractionary shit, or trans Africans who shit pan boo boo, or any immigrant. I don't care who they are. They're lying to us every day and to our children in school systems saying this is a land of immigrants. No, it's a collection of thieves.
Yes.
Who are here without our authority nor our consent. Starting with our ancestors who got deceived. Some of them were pimps, con men, in cahoots, collaborators, sellouts. I don't care which version you want to use. They cooperated with the same foreign invaders to get us where we are today.
Yeah.
And so now we're dealing with the fallout. We're dealing with the consequences. It's not our fault, but goddamn it, it is our problem. And I yield.
It is. It is our problem, and we have to correct it. And we, we have to get out to our communities. We have to teach our people. A lot of our people are not on YouTube. They're not. I'm not afraid to go and set up in my community. We have to approach our religious leaders. We have to let them know that what a lot of what they're doing is keeping our people from understanding who they are, because a lot of our religious leaders keep sending their missionaries over to Africa. It's sickening. It really is. I did the genealogies of some ministers here in my local town that look like me. And I said, well, wait a minute. Maybe this minister is from, it could be from Jamaica, West Indies, where they're very European, culturally connected because they grew up under British rule, the British Islands. And I really did their genealogy. They're not all of them, the ministers here. They're from North and South Carolina, and they have big churches here in Connecticut, small to large size churches. None of them are from Africa. And I do that purposely because so many foreigners look like us that are not us and of us that are running these churches.
But you
A lot
said
of
many
them
of
are
them
not.
had a Caribbean island genealogy.
Some of them are from Jamaica, which unfortunately here in Connecticut, a lot of West Indians do not socialize with the North American Negro.
Now,
They are,
why would you think they have that kind of mental conditioning?
well, because they grew up under British rule and they're more accustomed to dealing with the European side more so than over here. It's so they're more connected with letting the white man be the ruler in the community
So then they
than
will
there
be
would be a
dismissive
Negro.
of
Like
kinfolk
if a
who are
Negro is running
skinfolk.
for office,
Yeah.
a Jamaican will go to vote for the white guy.
And undermine you and your community's interests.
Right. And I'm not putting hate towards them. It's just that's the way they were raised.
No, I want to point out the example of what has been considered political and supposed civic leadership in our community that is coming out of the pulpit. And this is detrimental.
Yeah, we're very separated here in Connecticut when it comes to the Jamaican from the island. Like we're the predominant ones, including their people, that buy from their restaurants. But if I was to run for office, I wouldn't be the one that they would vote for, which really fucking sucks. And that's the truth. I could go to the West Indian restaurant every day and buy porridge for breakfast, cocoa bread and beef patty for lunch, and then turn around and go and buy a whole curry chicken dinner.
Now, okay,
Right?
just
But
give me
I'm
that
not going to be
example
the
you
one
just
that they
made.
vote for if I run for office.
Exactly.
They're
Okay,
going to
so
vote for
now
the white guy.
so how is porridge not oatmeal that our grandmothers and great grandparents may have fed us? Porridge is
Oh
not
yeah,
oatmeal. It's not cream of wheat. Now some people say,
it's
I
more
don't hear
like
about cream of
it's
wheat.
more close. It's more close to cream of wheat than it is oatmeal.
Mm-hmm.
And I like porridge. I like peanut butter porridge, banana porridge. I love the way they cook it. Now I'll go and support their business, but if they see me on the news in Connecticut, they're not gonna vote for me. Nah,
Now,
Baltimore,
why
nah,
is it
we
not
ain't your
reciprocal?
cow.
See, that we're not talking hate here. I'm trying to be objective, not
Right.
political, not
I don't
emotional.
understand
Why
it.
is it not reciprocal? And I'm not trying to put
I
words in
don't
your mouth, Chief.
I
I'm
don't know.
saying
It's
most of
very
us
deep
know
hatred.
that immigrants do not reciprocate in supporting the Aboriginal on the mainland.
Right.
But they are coming here to the mainland to get the benefits of the land of milk and honey. While the people who are the descendants of the original inhabitants of this land are being deprived. So that's what that young man was expressing in frustration with the conversation with him earlier today. I'm not excusing him or saying that he was making an excuse, or certainly, as some people would be offensive and call him lazy. Obviously not. He initiated an effort to be, an entrepreneur, to create something of his own labor. But then why is a community who's conditioned to hate itself, and by saying it the way I'm saying it, is the evidence that we don't support ourselves, right?
Correct.
But we keep supporting any and everybody else.
Correct.
Who's coming here invading ours.
Correct.
And then we're being told this is not ours.
Correct.
And started the American Colonization Society movement in 1820s.
Yep.
So that's 200 years. Foreign motherfuckers, after being here 200 years, from the 1620s to the 1820s, and then defined us American in 1828 with the first American dictionary designed by the same foreigners. How did they define us? In that definition, and at the same time declared themselves to steal our identity bestowed on the native born children of Europeans. That is in the definition, right, Chief?
Yes, 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 sir.
What's the fuck is the problem with us? Is it
and
just
doc,
too simple
and,
for what I'm trying to explain?
clear
A knucklehead
indoctrination.
Negro like Lex Vortex keeps coming over here saying the crap that he says.
Well, you know how that is. That's the way it goes. That's how our people are, and that's the result. That's the unfortunate result of indoctrination. And sometimes people are clearly have a clear understanding of it, but choose to just fight you just because they hate you and they want to keep controversy and shit going. I don't pay Lex any mind. He's like less than zero on the brain to me. I mean, sometimes he's paid to come on people's channel to act like an ass. So
But I know you
I
get the
ain't
point
paying
that
him
I'm
no
making,
fucking
so I'm
mind.
not. I'm not stressing it particular to you. I'm saying to those who possibly are listening, those who have ears, let them hear. Those who have eyes, let them see. So if you can't clearly understand the defined American is one person, one group of people alone, and therefore there are only a specific group of people who descend from those Aboriginal copper colored people who are the only people who have the inheritance under undrip and a drip. Now, for the slow bus people, Chief, I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
Oh, you're making yourself clear, honey. Keep it on.
Then that's what I mean when I say identity crisis is a thing. Until you confidently and with authority declare yourself the only authentic American. Anyone else is hyphenated. European American, Asian American, Arab American, African American. And them niggas came here in the 1980s, not
Correct.
1880s.
Correct.
And if you're a Native American, we can prove they didn't get created till the 1970s.
Correct.
So anyone else is attaching themselves to Americanness. Who is the true American? And I yield.
And it's right up here. If you can't see it, brother, the definition. Um, Theodore, you've been waiting a minute, and then after you, Golden Culture.
I was wanted to, piggyback on what you were saying about the churches and political leaders. I believe most of those guys are part of the secret society. So you're not gonna sway them no matter what you say to them. They're gonna stand on their dime because that's who they are. So I think it's more about reaching the people more so than reaching the political leaders. Because I don't really believe there's many political leaders not part of some form of secret society. These people know the truth. They know what it is. They just gonna stick to their script.
I'm sorry. What did you say, brother? I lost you.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I was saying that I don't believe there's no way of talking to political leaders or pastors because I believe most of those guys are part of secret societies.
Well, of all due respect, that's not how. I mean, I know that's an emotional response from you, but regardless, if they're gonna want, if you feel that it's not worth it, what I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna mute you, Golden Coach, in your background. What I'm going to say is this: out of respect and out of political respect and out of civil respect, that part of community organizing, uh, we have to operate in that fashion. Um, they're right now recognized as the community leaders across these states when it comes to brown people. That's the first person they look to in our community because they expect all the brown people going to the brown guys church. So unless we put ourselves in leadership roles, and I'm not talking just in a political role to run for office. I'm talking about reestablishing yourself as who you are, okay, as a family tribe. Then you become the leader in the community. You have to put yourself in a leadership position. When you establish your individual family tribe, you're not only coming as a leader, okay, but you're 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 going to be representing who you are. Now, pastor might not agree and be angry because when you start communicating on a professional level with pastor, saying, look, pastor, I know, you have a nice sized congregation, but I want to let you introduce you to me. My name is Chief Bethy. I'm the chief of the Wire tribe, and we consist of many of our members consist of many of the original tribes here on North American landmass. And for a very long time, I grew up in the community, and you have been a leader, and you got to come to them on a professional level. You've been a leader holding services with our community, but I'm coming to you on a professional level. I'm going to let you know. I just want to let you know that I am going to start visiting your congregation members' homes and explaining our true history to them. Oh, pastor's not going to take that too well, because when you start telling and educating your community, they're going to be concerned. Now, pastor's definitely going to teach them, oh, that's the devil just trying to come and pull you out. No, it ain't. I'm not going to fight with you, pastor, about your King James Version threats. I'm coming to my people to teach them the truth so they can understand why they're in the position that they're in. I understand. I didn't come here to argue with you, pastor, about your religious beliefs. Nope, you pray to the Lord. Well, is your defense? No, no, pastor. I got to tell them who they are so they can understand that they are the true land owners. They need to know who they are. And we need to stop hiding them under these false, fictitious names that were given to create them as little corporations. They need to know all this because it was hidden from them. And if you don't know, pardon me, pastor, I would like to teach you, because there's going to be a lot of pastors that aren't aware of it as well. A lot of pastors are my age today. They're in their 50s and they're responsible for large congregations. So it can be equally fair to say that, you know what? You and I were born in 66. So it's a strong possibility that they might not know. And they're only teaching what they were taught as being raised up in the church. And if pastor disagrees, well, he can disagree with you professionally, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to knock on their congregation's door, because anybody in the community's door could be a member of his congregation or could not be. But we're introducing ourselves as leaders in the community. So, pastor, I have a problem with that. Oh, well, it's going to be our ancestors against pastor. That's all I can say. And what I can say is our ancestors are not going to lose. Because once you understand your bloodline, that's when the light comes on. That's the light that the church speaks about. I'm going to let this little light shine, or however that song goes.
This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Now, could you give some enlightenment of what clearly understood to be bloodline? I don't know why this is such a problem for the simple-minded fools, whether in the chat or the slow ones in the short bus. Map your parents. And when you get the names of those individuals, who makes up who they are? If it's two African Negroes, and I'm not saying they aren't, that's going to be found out by you.
Right.
Then don't both of them have to be the parent of an African, quote unquote, person?
Correct.
What the... I don't want to sound like I'm being facetious, Chief Morning Thunder, I'm saying if you go back, we've talked about this repeatedly. You go back 5, 6, 7 generations, that's 32, 64, 128. How does one, even if you find one supposed member of a cargo shipped over here at that time frame, we're talking about in early 1800s, which you would have to be going that far back to find some cargo. How does that one outweigh 127, outweigh 63? God even outweigh 31 ancestors of your family tree. What is it that you can't understand? This is what Forrest Gump means about stupid is as stupid does. Damn it. And if you can't get with it, why don't you go someplace and y'all get a group of stupid motherfuckers and go get your channel and be stupid together over there? We're not going to allow the infection to spread any longer amongst the people who have been misguided, misled. And what is a misnomer, Chief Bessie? What is a
African
misnomer?
American.
Well, we know what the title is. So I'm saying what is an actual misnomer is calling a person out of their name.
Correct. That's a fact. It's a misnomer.
So the person who keeps asking in the chat, what is identity, why it's important, why it should be held. One person said, I don't know if you saw it in the chat, Negroes don't have history, Negroes have legacy. I could agree in this fashion. That means you map your tree if you want a legacy. Or what did Cuddy say with his song from Felony? Put an eye on your knee so your leg could see. And I yield.
Facts. Color Golden Culture. How are you? Welcome to the panel. Your mic is muted if you're speaking, Golden Culture. Golden Culture. Well, Golden Culture, your mic is muted. Well, maybe he's busy. When doing genealogy, first let's just look at this really quick. You have the Reconstruction era, which took place in 1863. Okay. I'm sorry. You have the Indian Removal Act, which took place in 1830. And then after that, you had the Reconstruction era. We have census sheets clearly in the 1830s, 1860s. All right. And we also have that same period when a lot of our people were removed. Oh, your device is not connected, Golden Culture. You might have to go out and come back in and allow StreamYard access to your mic and camera. So 1830, you could not live, and I repeat this, you could not live in Indian territory in 1830 if you were not that Indian. Like, it's very different today because we admitted ourselves into the corporation, voluntary and involuntary. All right. But in 1830, you could not move around freely like we do today. Like, I could pick up today and go live in Texas. Not a problem. 1830, you couldn't do that in Indian territory. You were that Indian in that territory. And you had the Aboriginals in that territory protecting that territory. Like, if you were let's say you were a Seminole and you think you're going to move to Cherokee territory, not happening. So understand this, and like I read to you all the time. I read this to you. Where is it? Negroes are frequently met who speak, and this article is around that time. Negroes are frequently met, meaning when you come in Indian country, Indian territory, you're going to be faced with Theodore. That's who's going to greet you. Hey, what up? Negroes are frequently met. That means when you come in Indian territory, you're going to see a nigga.
And that means, what the hell you doing in my backyard?
You're met, all right? Negroes are frequently met who speak nothing but Indian languages. All right?
And that's not African Negro. Negro.
Right, correct. So they had to have interpreters go around us. They had to take one of us with them. If you're going to be walking around in different Indian territories, I better take a nigga with me because I'm doing the census. You're going to need him not only to protect your ass, but you're going to need him to interpret for you too. You need to understand shit for what it is. So like I said, if you live somewhere in 1830, you was that damn Indian because you were frequently met. What you want? What up? It's very modern. Today is 2023. We're going way the fuck back to 1830. Same shit, different time. What up? Oh, a word? That's why, yeah, all right, come on. If you got to do the census so we can get money or whatever for our land to keep our shit going, yeah, you can do the census. I'll take you through. All right. They accompanied your ass around there because you was not walking freely in Indian land. Different foreigners really literally can't do that now. When foreigners come in our hood, they're uncomfortable. We make them uncomfortable. First of all, you see a bunch of niggas on the avenue. That's what we call it here. And foreigners, you get to buy crack. All right, hurry up, get your shit and get out of here. If I rob your ass. Yeah, it's a fucked up way to be. I'm not even gonna lie. It's horrible. But I'll never forget my communication with Pookie and Ray Ray. I don't give a fuck how corporate I get. I can come to my people. I can bring anybody to my, what do you want? You want to interpret? He's saying this. I've done it for my governor. Because he don't understand niggas. And he grew up right in here in Connecticut. What did he say? He grew up in suburb area, different zip code.
So and people are still dense.
I'm not,
Chief Morning Thunder. People are still dense. But as I've said before, the marketing and the advertising that has us commercialized and consumers, from Madison Avenue to Wall Street, a successful advertising campaign is 2%. I don't know if you were aware of that. But that means only 2 people. A successful marketing and advertising campaign is a 2% ratio. That means out of 100 people a message is transmitted to, only 2 act on it. You feel me? But when you're in a store or a mall or somewhere where you're conducting commercial trade, so those UCC Negroes who love to bang on that crap, you don't know why some shit hopped in your hand as you going down the aisles and you didn't go to buy that shit. That's because you're conditioned.
Yeah.
You've been marketed to.
Yeah.
Now, how are we going to be marketed to who we truly are? Which is why, again, sounding like a broken record, identity crisis is a thing. And until it's addressed, it won't be the mental conditioning that we have to be combating, like marketing, like commercialism. You feel me? Because we're being sold that we are Negro, colored, Black, African American. Those are marketing titles, labels, advertising.
Thanks.
That does not mean, what is the package inside? What is the content? inside the box. You feel me?
Yes.
But it's new and improved. We heard that bullshit too, right? New and improved. Now, nigga, you're Negro. New and improved. Now, Negro, you're colored. Now, in 1790, and I think you've brought that up before, whether you want to pull it up or not, the Naturalization Act of 1790 did not coincide. It came together with the first census, the enumerating head count of who should not be counted and who should not be taxed, Queen Mother. Now, I understood Heru, the copper-colored guy, banging on that we are Indians because we're in the document. I get that. I'm not here to argue over whether you're an Aboriginal or an Indian. If you do get to that point of your awareness and understanding, you should know, or at least be clear to you, that it was 2 centuries that they had been amongst us in 1828 when it became a defined word of an American. 2 years later, they tried to Indian Remove Act. And in violation of the same law, that white trash cracker, Andrew Jackson, there was a court ruling in the Supreme Court with the Cherokee Nation versus Georgia in 1832. Is that correct, Queen Mother? So 1828, we're being defined by Noah's Dictionary to be the American. In 1830, they said, let's remove these Indian Negroes. In 1832, in trying to keep them from removing from our land in Georgia, which we call Georgia today, as in King George, the Supreme Court Chief Justice, John Marshall, said this is a violation of nature's law and common law. And what did that cracker Andrew Jackson say? I'd like to see him get his ass up off that bench and come down and enforce it. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So the criminal said what? I'm an outlaw. Make me follow the law. And what has gone on since 1830? Now we're getting to 2030, right? The Indian is constantly being removed. Now, what is the term used today? For the slow ones and the short bus, gentrification, redlining,
Correct.
ghetto, projects, the hood.
Yep.
Those are all terms, titles, or misnomers to remove the Indian. Do I need to sleep a little slower, Chief, for the ones in the back of the classroom? They are trying to remove the Indian, not the African. As they are removing the Indian, they are trying to convince them they are an African, or they are recruiting Africans to displace the Indian. Which would you think it would be, Chief?
I'd say both at this point. We went from being originals, running our lands and our community, okay, to being whitewashed. Whitewashed. They always wanted to whitewash the full blood, which makes no fucking sense. How are you, a white foreigner that came over here and got pregnant by Pookie and Ray Ray, right? And then your baby is here on the left. That's the Indian. And guess what? When this baby on the left has a baby with another white girl, you become him. And now you're the Indian. But this is what it means in the definition now applied, originally applied. Let's just pull it up. Let's just keep it very real of the shit that's done. American, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans. All right, we still are the American. They took off the copper, and shortened it. Because I mean, if you're a senator in office and they distinguished the coloreds from the whites, they took off copper, to shorten it, just to make the distinguishment, so you know which senators are white and which senators are colored, who are the former original copper colored races found here by the Europeans. But now that shit is applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. And here you have it. You have, and I'm going to show you how that process is done. Pookie and Ray Ray has a baby by a white European, and vice versa. A white man has a baby by me. Our baby comes out looking like the cutie pie on the left, mulatto. And then this cutie pie on the left's wife's is white. And their baby coming out looking like the guy on the right.
And then by the 1895 Dawes rolls,
applied to the copper color races. Originally applied to the copper color races.
And now being applied to them.
To the descendants of Europeans born.
And now they're calling them $5. They're calling them $5 by signing up on the Dawes roll, right?
But anyway, Negroes who Pookie and Ray Ray, Negro, okay, Negroes speak nothing but Indian languages and are Indians by tribal law and custom, of course. We don't need the blood quantum to be the Indian. We are the blood quantum. That's clear because we speak nothing but Indian languages. Well, how come the white guy just couldn't go around and do the census? And because obviously he needed the Negro, who is the browner person that spoke the Indian language. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the lies. I'm not playing. We don't need to waste our time with Pan-Africans. It's clear. So, again, I say where I left off, I will be speaking to pastors, and he's probably not going to like it, or maybe he don't give a shit at all. But I'm going, and we're coming. And I'm going to, we have to help Ray Ray. We're going to teach him.
Amen, Chief.
Golden Culture, are you with us?
Remember,
yes, I am with you, Sister Bethy.
Oh, you can hear me now. Good.
I can finally hear you. What's happening?
How are you? I'm good.
Yeah, I came in with the Geechee language before I start speaking in proper tongue. But anyway, hey, Sister Bethy, I give you all salute, you guys who keep pushing this narrative, and y'all keep trying to tell them that we ain't black, we ain't African American. Y'all keep doing it. I do it at the bar. When I'm at the bar hanging out, I tell them I'm American, and we see so many people because I'm from the DMV. So they ain't, what I mean. So we down here, we push it so hard. We're American. We're Aboriginal. So I don't know elsewhere.
Where you from again?
I'm from Alexandria, Virginia. So I'm like 5 minutes away from DC.
Yeah. I know where Virginia.
So they ain't right down the street from it. We gonna meet up real soon. But anyway, see the problem. I salute y'all. The problem is we the only people that can't be deported. So that should be a clear as our view, to where as though hey, if you're not here seeing that, then it's a problem, and it's a paralysis by analysis that our people are going through. If we wanted to file for a disability check, we all can file for it because of so much trauma that they've done to us mentally and indoctrinated us. If we wanted to apply for disability, and we would be able to get it. Thirdly is that I'm solution based, and I root on y'all because y'all the ones that still pushing it. You know what I mean? But so I think that once people start understanding history and law goes together, and they understand law and they understand history, which you do and your panel does, y'all explain it, I think they'll correlate both of them together. You know what I mean? Because keep talking to these Pan-Africans and all these people that's just saying this, that, and the other is not getting anywhere. They can't deport you, dummy. You're not a Pan-African. We're all Asiatic, of course. You know what I mean? We're all Asiatic, but all of us aren't. I'm not two continents. I'm an American. I'm an Aboriginal. There's nothing wrong with that. That don't mean that I hate you or anything like that. It's just we've been indoctrinated. Now we're coming out of it. It's fine wherever you're from. We're still all Asiatic, but we got to work on ourselves. So I salute you all for keep pushing the narrative and keep pushing it. But I figure sooner or later, one day y'all gonna say, man, hey, leave them people alone. Let them. It's a paralysis by now. They are so paralyzed and thinking that they are African American or Pan African. You can't help them.
Right. I'm not going to stop trying, but I think when they see that the more of our people that become aware, and it's just called the Great Awakening, bottom line.
Pretty much.
So many of our people do not connect with African in
the
first place. And when you show them the truth, they're going to be more believable to their ancestry lineage. And I'm not worried about it, because what's going to happen is going to come to surface when it comes to our people. And the thing that we don't do, we talk a lot, but we really have to take action in our communities. We have to help our communities. We have to educate them. We're the educators. Once you know, you become the educator.
I agree.
And you got to teach it. You never want to argue and fight with them.
Right, I agree. But the truth is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
It's so unbelievable. It's ridiculous.
It's a mind buster when you first find out. It takes you back. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, so
everybody's granny told me, "Yeah, you got Indian," but granny went no further, and that's across the states.
You have to be a doctor
too.
You have to be a doctor at this thing to where as though you are dissecting everything inside of a person's mind that's an American, trying to dissect it to disable that virus that's in there. And it takes special people that know how to do that. So I salute you and all the others that go out there and dissect and try to get that virus out of there, because it's strategic ways of doing it. You have it, I don't. On the streets, I have it. But on this, by being on a channel, it's certain people that could do that. I salute you all. I'm gonna leave from the panel. And thank you again for letting me come up, Sister Beth.
You're welcome, brother. I appreciate you coming up, showing love. I really do. So, and looking at this genealogy chart, that's what I'm gonna call it. You have the generation Alpha, which is where we are now, as far as blood lineage. And if you really look at it, we're not really going back that far in time.
You know, Queen Mother, when you put that together, whether you did it intentionally or not, you're calling them Generation Alpha. You're going back from Z to A. We're circling back on our DNA. That's generation ancestor.
Right. That's the way that they labeled it throughout, history. It is funny.
Well, they started with us. Well, I would say me. The boomer generation became the first marketing demographic because they put out the narrative, the urban myth, that there was a baby boom after World War II. Interesting, you went reverse engineer, calling the silent generation the greatest generation. And remember what I told you about the lost generation? Mm-hmm. That's all the ones after 1900. Now, you're referring to those born in that time period as the lost generation. I'm saying all other generations after them have been lost.
Absolutely.
And now we need to be found.
I'm just labeling it the way that they had it.
Oh, I feel you, sister. I feel you. I'm just going to underscore when you brought that chart up, what we talked about then. You know. about the inability to communicate generation to generation, what the media refers to as a generation gap, is that we're not focusing on how we're not talking to ourselves. We're not prioritizing ourselves. We're not mapping, as you're showing here, what is a family tree? What is legacy? Go find you and work on that. Do not get deterred, discouraged, or deflected by the foolishness, the chaos and confusion that is going on in this criminal enterprise.
Facts.
When more of us understand there is a crime, there, what did we say, sister, the last conversation we had? There's an active crime scene.
Correct.
There's an active crime scene. Genocide is taking place, whether you call it paper genocide or not. When you call it identity theft, when you and who you are is being taken from you, and others are trying to make you think and believe you are something else, that is a crime.
Correct.
And under fraud exceptions, if you are deceived, knowing and unknowing, you're being caused to be a participant in your own victimization of a crime, that is ongoing and unaddressed. Fraud has no statute of limitations. It even has no jurisdiction. It is global. Murder has no statute of limitation. And our ancestors have had their murders, their massacres, their genocide unprosecuted, right? And I'm not just talking about the so-called 5,000 lynchings or whatever the number is. You feel me? I'm talking about an entire population. The Indian Removal Act was the first step towards, in 1920, or what was the date that the Negro Project and Margaret Sanger, which gave us Planned Parenthood, 100 years later, in the 1920s and the 1930s, right? That's where this whole eugenics movement began. And Walter Plecker and the Racial Integrity Act, that's 1924, right?
Correct.
So when all these things are being instituted, there's only one people, whether you call them Indian, whether you call them Aboriginal, and again, I will stress for simplicity, the only identified American. Everyone else is a foreigner. Everyone else from 1790 to today are, you know what it says in the Naturalization Act of 1790, Chief Bessie? It says you're an alien or an alien enemy. Have you ever saw that and looked at the details of that? That was the first precursor of people calling themselves citizens.
Yeah.
And then claiming that citizenship was only to white men, 21 and older, free and land owning. How did white citizens own land on Turtle Island in North America? Through slavery? Isn't that what they started basing their economy on? How many slave labor did you get to control land that you were given?
We weren't part of their corporation. This is them coming to establish a business on our land. And that is who they allowed in their to work in their business.
Yeah, could you remind them of how many acres were they given per each slave laborer or indentured servant?
Yeah, but that was on the negotiations with our ancestors, but we didn't get there yet. Remember, this corporation, when it was first established, we were not part of it. It was, as that time, they were just colonies, and they created their business for their people who were foreigners. They were building and developing their nation for immigrants on our land. If you have to look at it as a business perspective.
So then the nation of immigrants, because that's the word you use, which is more accurate.
Well,
the nation of immigrants.
Today,
you're right. You're absolutely right, Queen Mother. I'm saying, you see how the fraudulent marketing and advertising is? This is not a land of immigrants. The nation of immigrants, the corporate criminal enterprise, was established on our land.
Correct. It was a business established on our land, and we agreed to that, but we weren't part of it. We had our own government in the South. We had a president and everything. We were not part of their business. But later on, when we lost control of our people, you know, it was just horrible. And our people decided to conduct even, go into further business with the colonizers that formulated their corporation, their nation of immigrants. We said, okay, we'll come in. They didn't really want us to, but and
Now
I mean,
stay with that point right there, Queen.
I,
What was the
I
transition of citizenship? Giving
okay,
up the land that was yours.
I'm getting ready to go there. You got to give
Okay.
me 1 second to
Okay.
pull it up, which is right here at that time. And it's clear, we were not, they never wanted us in their corporation because they were building it for them, their business on land. But then shit hit the fan, and our leaders, so-called, that were in power, let me just pop this up right here. Here you go. These of our people who were in Congress in our southern states said, okay, fuck it. We can't rock it. Let's go into the corporation together. And it was a debate and conversation. Well, here where it says, if slavery was to be the dominant social political force, which is slavery and employment, which is employment. Slavery means the same thing. Replace that with employment. If employment is better understood reading it today than it is back then. Back then it was understood for what it was. Today it's understood for what it is. If slavery, okay, cross out slavery. If employment was to be the dominant social political force and racism the dominant popular ideology, what role was there for the Indians? And would they want that role? Why would they continue their struggle to be free and equal citizens of the United States, or forge a new identity in the larger Black Atlantic world? Which, hello, Indian, Negro,
That's when
colored,
that Pan-African, Pan-Boo-Boo.
Mulatto, African American came out in 1988. All these damn identities. These are the new identities that we forged to come into. And
and what was it that you said about voting made you a citizen, Chief?
Yes,
that's what made you a citizen. So in 1964,
right, we didn't sign any documents to become citizens. So those of us who didn't agree to it, we were forced into it.
So for the historic record, as you just pointed out there, 14th Amendment citizenship was established in 1868. The Negro then had, what was it, the Voting Rights Act of 64, 1964, and the Civil Rights Act the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why in 1866 it was the Indian Civil Rights Act after the Civil War?
Because of the race identity change that we agreed to. Voluntarily. I mean, whether we wanted to be citizens in the corporation and cooperate, once you became in their corporation, you gave the central government the power over you and state governments.
Stress the word gave, right? Stress the word gave. Without a shot, without a fight, without uprising, though that's not true, because at the same time there were Indian wars going on, what we call the Civil War,
which was a lot of this. We had to leave our homes. Oh, you're not gonna pay your light bill? I mean, your water bill or whatever. All right, get your ass out of here. You're getting out. You out. You out.
And that's confiscation, right?
Correct.
So that's confiscation, which today they're calling eminent domain.
Exactly. Correct. My point. The state governments, eminent domain all over this place, whether they wanted to put up a railroad track or put lights on the street, they need access to your land, they need an easement, everything.
You laying a bonfire, Queen Mother. You know, I mean, all we can do is keep stacking more logs and burn this motherfucker down. Excuse me, Chief. I mean, sorry. I don't want you to get a strike. Let me step back off the witness stand. Because sticking with the facts, again, for the people in the slow bus and the back of the classroom, sitting on the bench like Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get if you stay ignorant. Okay? So, Indian Removal Act, 1830.
Oh, dag. Lex, come on the panel. Hit the link. You
Indian Removal Act, 1830.
Yeah.
14th Amendment Citizenship Rights, 1868.
Yeah.
Indian Civil Rights Act, 1866. Yeah. The Ku Klux Klan Act in 1871, right?
Don't forget about the original outfits. And we were part of that. We can't keep leaving stuff out. Ku Klux Klan wasn't just a
military arm of the Democrat Party,
an angry mob of white guys. Our people was out there too.
You showing Uncle Ruckus? Is that showing? You showing Uncle Ruckus?
Our people was out there too, fighting.
You ever seen that Dave Chappelle skit of the blind black Klansman?
Oh God, yeah. He didn't know he was white. Picture. Dave Chappelle's a damn fool.
Yeah. So again, just sticking with the simple facts that you said on the timeline. The Civil War ends. 1866 Indian Civil Rights Act.
Oh yeah, you threw me off. I gotta get back to my document. Yeah, because you threw me off. I was trying to explain something.
Forgive me, Queen Mother. Go back.
No. You're fine. Alibama. So we're in. This is my genealogy chart. We're in, of course, Generation Alpha of how they identify. And I'm in Generation X. A lot of us are. Okay. Right here in the silent generation, a lot of our grannies are from that generation. And there's some that are still alive today. That's granny. You're Indian. You're not African.
Now, Malcolm was born in 1925 and Martin was born in 1929.
Yep. And that's when, Granny said, right here, the Generation X, when Roots came out in 79 and all that, you're not Indian. You're not African. You're Indian. Okay. Well, that was it. That was all Granny said. She was silent. Prior to her, silent generation, that's when the ass whoopings came from our own people too. You keep your mouth shut. You're a Negro. And all these generations so far, you're seeing colored. And the lost generation colored. And here, Negro. Greatest generation, you've seen colored. You see Negro in the greatest generation.
Now look at, you got them dated at 1924. That's the Racial Integrity Act of Walter Plecker and Vital Records.
Correct. And then you got this boomer generation that is leaving the government, and shit is drastically starting to change now, because what we were opened up for more opportunity around my generation, which is Generation X. It was still bad racism, but you got to remember, my mom's generation, which is the boomer generation, they went through a lot of shit. They went through the Civil Rights Act, the separate but equal, all that shit. Sundown laws and everything. They went through a lot. So what they passed down to us in Generation X,
Well,
opportunities started. I'm sorry.
They passed down terrorism.
Correct.
They passed down emotional trauma.
Correct.
They passed down people telling them through suppression, through.
Correct.
Now, you know what? I get tired of these people keep
You're
telling
right.
this lie about there was segregation that was the issue. It was not. We were self-sustained.
Correct.
We had our own communities.
Correct.
Then let a political
Segment by
term
April.
be created by calling the white Klansmen of the Dixiecrat Party the segregationists. Segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. George Wallace, governor of Alabama, right?
Right.
So they were the segregationists. Then they deceived us with a handpicked Negro who they gave a Nobel Peace Prize, who said integration is the solution for the children, knowing damn well we shouldn't be trying to integrate our children amongst them. And no, they weren't going to let no nigger buck come lay down on their lily white daughters. Right? So right before they shot him in the mouth,
That's
he
the
said,
shit y'all went through.
yeah, well, but hear me out, sister. Right before they shot him in the mouth.
But let's let the audience know what generation you're talking to. He's talking to the baby boomer generation, y'all.
But don't forget, he was born in the silent generation, like you said. He was born in 29.
Right.
Malcolm was born in 25. Malcolm was assassinated in 65 at the lead edge of your Generation X, and Martin was killed in 68.
Correct.
But at this point in time, we were being told to integrate. And just before they shot him in the mouth, what's the famous quote that they don't listen to over the I Have a Dream? I lament that I integrated my people into a burning house, which means you must have left your house, right?
Yep.
Which means you must have left your communities,
Correct.
your businesses, your Aboriginal Indian government self-rule.
Correct.
And integrated for what? Your child sitting next to a lily white child in his classroom?
Mm-hmm.
You're getting on from the back of the bus to the front.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowed to go amongst their hotels, which now you took your money out of the hotels you owned, out of the movie theaters you own, out of the bus companies you own. And by the way, do you know Dr. Claude Anderson? His Powernomics book?
Yes, I have.
You do know his family owned the bus company, right? Did you know that?
Wow, no, I did not.
Yes. So again, we're talking about people who knew and benefited from being self-sufficient. Then told an entire people, well, you need to be around white folk. Again, I'm still asking, here we are 60 years late. What have we got? You know what ROI is. What's return on investment? What's our return on our investment? And we're the only community in this nation of immigrants, not the land, because the land is still ours. The land is Aboriginal land, and we're the inheritors because we are the descendants of the Aboriginal, the only American. We went and integrated amongst who and benefited who. That's why they're sending $700 billion a year in what is called remittance back to the immigrant nations they left. Huh?
Correct.
Where's that money coming from? Pookie and Ray Ray?
Correct.
Laquita?
Correct.
The ghetto fabulous single female head of household that's going eating crap and fast food and poison in convenience stores run by Arabs and gas stations and pawn shops and those paycheck.
This is what our people agreed to. Alibaba assimilate into the nation of immigrants, and we.
And what did Martin Luther King say that was? A burning house.
Correct.
Okay, then. So who is continuing to push us into a burning house? Reverend Chickenbone? Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, African American Negroes who are continuing to tell this community, integrate. I'm sorry. Be a step ladder for other people to step up on and elevate themselves in the land of milk and honey while they're stealing the milk and honey from you. And I yield.
Well, as I was going along during the generation lines, blood lineage lines, and the baby boomer generation, which was a really coming up as a kid, very difficult generation to deal with. Now, we got our discipline from our parents. Some of us, many of us did. Uh, I had my Southern morals because I'm in Generation X, raised by a baby boomer generation and a silent generation. Okay, opportunity was horrible for the baby boomer generation in our community, as well as the silent generation. Now, at Generation X, opportunities begin to open up in the reservations. I say reservations are hoods because that's where they put our asses at when we came in the great migration from the South to the northern reservations as refugees. Okay. So I'm in Generation X. Um, Opportunity really began in the millennial era, which is the era I became a young woman, graduating from high school and the millennial era. So opportunity was more for me. And my mom and grandma couldn't see my opportunity. So that caused a misunderstanding between myself and my grandmother because I didn't see what they saw working in the millennial era, which is the 1980s, up until including this date. All there was opportunity for me, which that was something that they severely lacked back then. I mean, you're talking my generation where um, we begin to understand corporate language more because we were allowed and to be public servants in the states and in the private sectors. Um, so the way I experience white people is not the same as the way they experience with them. I grew up working with white people because in my generation it was okay. Yet we still had our racism, in the 80s. It was very 1980. Um, Lots of people in my era received jobs not because of only the content of their character, but also the quotas that they were pressured to meet by states. Um, so, in working from the millennial area, being a mom in the millennial area, I have much better opportunity than my ancestors. Now, I would never, ever disrespect my ancestors. I honor them. I do. And I love them. They were only disciplining us in the manner in which they knew how to keep us alive. So me, Pookie and Ray Ray was running the hoods. And I chose to go to school. Pookie and Ray Ray stayed on the streets. You know, my brothers. They my brothers. Now we come to Generation X, which is the era of we come to the millennials, babies are starting to be born. My daughter, which is a whole different beast. They see absolutely nothing that Generation X and backs ever saw. This shit is like weird to them. It's weird because the millennial generation and the Z generation and Generation Alpha, they see a whole new, the world looks totally different to them. There, where I was confined in the hoods, where I was confined in the hoods, they are not. They didn't have exposure. I didn't have exposure to other cultures. I did with white people working in, and working in the corporate world. Now, Generation Z and Generation Alpha, they have more exposure with, and also millennials. They begin to get the more exposure. They weren't confined to the hoods like we were. Look at the years. They weren't confined. It was really and literally all about choice by then. And they had more exposure or with having a relationship, a social relationship with many aliens, many people from many races. And they never saw the world for what we saw and the way we saw it. So it's different to them. So we have to deal with the millennials, Generation Z, and Generation Alpha very different, because they're really exposed to opportunity. And at this point, in this time and age, it's really, really, opportunity is about if you go for it or you don't. Nothing's holding you back. And that's a fact. Today is very different. Generation Z and the millennials too. Millennials, Generation Z, and Alpha are coming out of high school business minded. That's not something that we were exposed to in Generation X. And if we were, like, I took the opportunity. I said, no, I'm going to go. I went. But the business mind really, really began to come out in those millennials, those 1980 babies, all the way up until now. They was coming out of high school, opening businesses, opportunity. And now that we're in the Generation Alpha, 2023, if you don't have a business, it's because you really, literally don't want it. I'm serious. Opportunity is there.
Chief Morning Thunder.
Yo, they don't see what we see. I'm telling you.
Remember, every generation doesn't consider history before they were born. So they can't see what we think we saw when we were their age. My great
But we got
grandmother.
to deal with them differently, or they're just not going to understand us, because shit sounds crazy to them. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you can't get a business? Like, when you hear people like Brown Wolf talk, he's literally don't understand that shit. It can't get with it. It's not them. And we got to listen to them.
In a sense, you're speaking a foreign language. But my
we
great-grandmother was born.
We really do.
Absolutely. Facts.
If Pookie and Ray Ray don't listen to Brown Wolf.
Well, ironically, what did you jokingly refer to them as streetwise pharmacists, etc.? But some of those young men were making $10,000 a week, but off of the community feeding them poison, literally. But they have a business enterprise. But that's what I was.
No choice, bro.
I'm certainly not disagreeing with that. Okay, what I'm saying is given the opportunity to transition to an effective business enterprise. But what I was saying is that my great-grandmother was born in 1900. My grandfather, her firstborn, was 1915. So between the first decade, because remember, for 1915, Birth of a Nation, shown in the People's House, the so-called White House, Woodrow Wilson then created what we call the compulsory education system, K through 12, right? 1915. Neither one of them would have been in a public school setting, right?
Right.
By the time he becomes a part of World War II, Okay. That's now my mother, who's born in 37.
Okay. She's
So,
right there with my grandmother.
so do you see what I'm saying, though? We got, there's a serious bridge and a gap. And I don't mean the way the media reports a generation gap. I'm talking about we're not telling our story to ourselves. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And this generation now has it compounded 2 to 3 generations. The way you laid it out, I really appreciate how you laid it out as far as we understand what is considered a generation. And it's expanded and shortened. By the way, it's moved back down to the bottom ones that you're using between 14, 15 years, which technically is about when it was at the turn of the century in 1900. Our great grandmothers were giving birth at 13, 14, 15.
That's why they call it generation.
But they were on their own land. Those were laborers to toil their own land, and their land was their legacy. We are now the removed Indian.
Yes.
Off their land.
Correct.
In mortgaged homes, which a mortgage is a dead document. Renting apartments, which is a bare unit of a building, displaced off the land you don't own.
Correct.
So how many generations has that been compounded and exacerbated? You've shown it then, not since World War II. And technically, the generation preceding it is between 25 and the Great Depression. We got bombed, burned out, and flooded. How many is it? 10,000 and counting of communities that are under man-made lakes?
Oh my goodness. You know what? Tayshawn is real good with those cities.
The flooded towns.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying, again, this is all traumatizing.
Very.
This is all genocide. I'm not arguing against anyone, whether you make that move for your personal family story and file a claim. But that's incumbent upon you. Unfortunately, that's an individual effort. But if you're talking to a people, which is where danger comes in, you're speaking to a community to understand this is your legacy. This is your true history, not transported cargo, whip your ass to become Toby out of Kunta or Kizzy or Queenie. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Where you being told that you're a big mammy feeding white babies. Isn't that what happened in the movie The Help?
Yes.
And what did she say? How many 18 children? Didn't she raise 18 other children, didn't raise her own?
Correct.
What the WTF, Queen Mother? See how we keep getting it twisted? When we keep repeating what others say about us, that's what's dangerous about these trans Africans that shit pan boo boo. We cannot, I know I'm preaching to the choir since we kept circling around Reverend Chickenbone and being at the pulpit. I know speaking this to you is speaking to a knowledgeable person, but it's also to the ignorant masses in the audience that keep getting this narrative spoken over them and reinforcing the ignorance. That's why we cannot tolerate this.
Yeah.
This can't be tolerated. It has been unchecked for at least 2 centuries. Since the Indian Removal Act is 200 years ago, right?
Pretty much, yeah. You got 19. Let me see. When was it?
1830. We're creeping up on 2030. You know what they call the Agenda 2030, right? I'm sure you heard of it.
Yes.
Is that not the continuation of removing the Indian?
It is.
So we are 2 centuries deep in this, and we listening to mofos try to tell us we're transported from someplace else?
Correct. We gotta, that's why I said we gotta start playing an active role. We have to become the leaders in our community. Otherwise, we're still going to be stuck with Pastor and his indoctrination, whether aware of it or unaware.
You know, Chief Morning Thunder, because I'm unfortunately coming upon where I've got to exit the ramp here and getting on my appointment. I'm going to tell you, as I tell all the other ones, you know what I mean by keep them running.
Mm-hmm.
Chief Morning Thunder, continue to power. I don't know if there's anyone else that's on the panel who want to put another log on it, but I appreciate the time and thank you for the invitation. Keep doing what you're doing because you're doing the best at what you do. But until the seeds are planted and you keep letting, not you personally, I'm saying in general, in our community, you keep letting these people in the short bus keep regurgitating your curriculum from K-12, that is indoctrination, shame on you.
Yeah.
That is you being a willing co-conspirator with what you know is wrong, a fraud, and lying on you once again, calling you out of your name. I don't care what label it is you want to desperately cling to, is slanderous. Writing down that title, label, or misnomer is libelous. Those are crimes. You are a victim of a crime. You are the descendant of a prisoner of war. And I yield. Have a great day.
Same to you, Alibamo. So that being said, I mean, we covered a lot today. We've been on now almost 3 hours. In 3 minutes. If you guys could smash the like button, we'll be back to revisit this. I am gonna start, like I said, the weather's starting to get warm. Going in my community and teach and doing my door to door is one thing I could do. I'm campaign queen, so we will revisit this. And if this is where you have to learn it for the time being, that's fine too. Um, it also doesn't hurt to go on our website and print out the newspaper, or you could download it and just share it with people. That'll be helpful because our newspaper is a very condensed version of our history, and I mean condensed. But at least, you can help if you can't get on the road and knock on doors. If you can go on our website and download our newspaper and save it to your drive and just email it to friends so that they could read it. We would really be a great help doing that. It's our newspaper and it speaks about our history. And I cover a lot what's covered on the panels in our communities throughout YouTube. So being my hood brothers and sisters from across the states, if you could do that, that would be helpful. It's a start, you know, a newspaper, a little small 10-page newspaper will exposes a lot to our people and it'll draw them to us, in the winter months, you know. So that would be helpful. I'm gonna get out of here. I asked if you could smash the like button, share this video. I'd appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow. And thank you again, Ali Bouma. I really appreciated your presence today. Smoke didn't make it up here, but that's okay. Maybe next time. Thanks for, you know, subscribing to me. Thanks for coming to spend time with me when you don't have to. I appreciate it. I enjoy it. And I'm just going to continue to keep doing what I do. I love embracing with my people in YouTube, and that's a fact. Until then, I'll see y'all tomorrow.
And we are not Africans. We are not African. Are you an African, baby? I'm not no African. Nigga, you a lying motherfucker. Nigga talking about we African. You African, nigga. I ain't African.